One. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CBJ Sports. We have a special episode this week. This is a fan question episode. Of course, after we're going to go over preseason, some extra stuff, talk about the NBA during the offseason. Me, Josh, CJ, Billy, all back this week. You can watch us on Twitch every single Sunday. We're on YouTube also every single week. We're going to start getting back on Apple Podcasts and Spotify when I get the audio file through. But this should be fun. We have a lot of fan questions. Should be long and very interesting. A lot of open discussions. And we start with the first one from Zach West, a friend from high school. And the first question is Jerry Jeudy in Denver, my bad. Is he going to have a breakout year? And I'll let CJ start.
I think he will. I think he'll do better than last year. Last year he had some problems with catching the football, but I think he'll be all right. I think he'll do better than last year. It's just all going to rely on which quarterback they have playing. I think if he has Teddy, he'll be all right.
Really?
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite. I think as long as he is true, because Jerry Jeudy's such a deep threat. And I think having somebody that's not afraid to air the ball out is what's going to help him out the most. But I think it all depends on the rest of the wide receivers. Courtland Sutton's got to step up and be that true number one receiver this year. They got who's the tight end they just drafted a couple years ago?
Noah
Fant.
They got KJ Hamler.
KJ Hamler, like those guys. Tim Patrick's still there? I think either way, but those guys have to step up and create. It can't just be Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton. It has to be a mix of everybody, and that's what's really going to open the game up for Jerry Jeudy. So I do expect a pretty good year from him this year.
Josh?
Yeah, I'm on the same page with Billy. I think Drew Lock definitely has something to prove wanting that position. I think he's going to come out just slinging the ball. And I think Courtland Sutton being back this year is really going to help Jerry Jeudy take it. Because last year he was kind of like put in as being almost the number one receiver coming in as a rookie. So I think this is going to take a lot of pressure off of him and help him a lot.
Yeah, I personally think Jerry Jeudy's got it all. He's got route running. He can go get the football. He's the Alabama wide receiver. He's got size, speed. I think Jerry Jeudy's definitely ready for that breakout year in year two. I think he's going to be an all-pro here sooner or later. He's definitely one of the best out of that class. The second question, why I said Jacksonville before is because I was looking to this question. Laviska Shenault. What's his role in Jacksonville? And I want to start this because I'm a huge fan of Laviska Shenault. I think he can play all three spots at wide receiver. He can go in the slot. He can go on the outside. He's going to be a person that I think is going to be a very key role in this team if they make the playoffs, which they can in year one with Trevor Lawrence at QB. But I think Laviska Shenault's got to be open for Trevor Lawrence 9 out of 10 times to be able to move the football down the field because this wide receiving core is a little lackluster. But I think Laviska Shenault's that number one, number two guy in Jacksonville.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Weirdly enough, I watched a lot of Jacksonville games last year, and it was weird how they were using them. It's kind of how I expect them to use ETN this year in that sense of a lot of motion. This man was put in a lot of pre-snap motion where he would either move from the outside to the slot or from the slot even to the running back position. And he ran the ball a good bit last year. So I expect ETN to take his spot right there. And I just expect him to be more of a true receiver this year. And I really do expect a big year of him because I'm a big fan of Laviska Shenault.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good. I know they got Marvin Jones Jr., but I think with him, he's going to take a little bit pressure off Marvin, and it's going to open him up.
Yeah, they have a lot of versatile players. If they find the right spot for them and use them in the right way, I think Shenault's definitely going to have. I think he's going to take that year two jump and have a really good season this year.
2 more questions from Zach. So he's got 4 to lead us off. But are the Bulls a playoff team? And I want to make it very quick and smooth. I think it's 100% their playoff team. It's just where they land. I think this team has got too much star potential to not be a playoff team.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's just where's the ceiling at? Without a doubt, though, I think they're 100% a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a playoff team. They were almost a playoff team last year. And they added a lot more talent this year.
Yeah, I agree. In the last one, the Packers, we've talked about them a lot. Aaron Rodgers' future. Next year, you think he will retire or find a new home? For me, I think it's find a new home. He's got plenty of years left. We know how athletic Aaron Rodgers is. He's almost like that Tom Brady sense of this guy looks like he could play forever the way he throws the football. I don't see any chance he retires. I think he finds a new home.
Yeah, I think he goes somewhere else and plays. I'd love to see him go to Denver.
That'll almost be like a storybook, isn't it? Just quarterbacks right after going. But yeah, I think there's no way he retires. It's just too much talent, too much left in the tank for him to just give in now.
Yeah, he hasn't showed any signs of regression at the age he's at, so he definitely has a lot more in the tank to go. He definitely doesn't retire.
I agree. As we move on to the next fan, and Nicole Stone, I was kind of shocked she didn't bring any baseball questions to the table, but there is one. Trevor's debut in Jacksonville. How do we feel about it? For me, I think he looked really good. That's one of the preseason games I watched beside the Panthers and the Bills game. Trevor Lawrence looked like Trevor Lawrence. He can make every throw on the field. He looks great, athletic. He just looked like Trevor Lawrence to me.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to say it, he's one of the highest touted prospects of all time. So he's got it all. It's kind of what you really didn't expect anything less out of his rookie debut in the preseason, and pretty sure we'll see a lot more of that come for years.
Yeah, I mean, we all expected how he was going to play. I mean, he makes throws. He plays really good. So, I mean, we all knew he was going to play really good.
Yeah, there was a lot of plays I was watching in preseason where he was just chilling in the pocket with as much time as he needed, just chilling in the pocket. He's gonna be crazy this year.
Moving on to, I think, a really controversial question. It's going to be a question that's going to happen for a long time, and it's from a guy that's been on the show, and Zach Russ. He's filled in for us a few times. His question is Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Green. I think it's more of I want to guess he's saying who do you want now, I guess, to start your franchise, or who do you think has looked better? And for me, it has to be Jalen Green. I hated on him all draft process. I thought Jalen Suggs was too, but Jalen Green's proved me wrong. He outplayed Cade Cunningham in that first game in the summer league. He looks like he can do it all. I'm in love with Jalen Green, so I gotta go Green.
I'm going with Cade Cunningham. I think they both are really good. I just think Cade Cunningham is more the leader by a good bit, and that goes a long way in basketball. But I don't know. They both look really good though.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think in 2 to 3, not 2 to 3 years, but throughout his career, I'm sure we'll see Jalen Green win a couple scoring titles, because that kid is just offensively insanely talented. You can tell he's just got something about him. But I got to go Cade just for the all-around basketball player. I think he can do it all. If there was one guy I think both of them can win a championship as the number one player in a couple of 4 or 5 years from now, however long it takes them to get there, if they do. But I just like Cade for the simple, like CJ said, the leader aspect and the all-around just player.
Yeah, this one's really tough because they're both really good, and they're both gonna have great careers in the NBA. But Jalen Green is looking very good offensively right now, and I'm gonna go with Jalen Green right now. I agree with Blake.
I get before we move on to the next, if you're watching in chat right now on Twitch, you can ask questions and Josh will relay them to us if he sees any come in. But as we move on to one of our close friends, Keith McKelvey, a big Steelers fan, he has 2 Steelers questions for us. Thoughts on Dwayne Haskins as a player and the situation is the first one. And for me, it's not that I hate Dwayne Haskins. He is a cannon of an arm. It's his thought process and being able to go through the motions of an NFL quarterback. And the NFL, that has to be perfect if you want to compete and win games. And Dwayne Haskins isn't close to perfect in that aspect. So if he can learn behind Big Ben and get those mental problems down, then I think Dwayne Haskins has a future in Pittsburgh. But until then, I just think he's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's that smart yet. And in the NFL, you gotta have really good mechanics. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to throw the ball anywhere with accuracy or nothing. And I think that's his biggest problem. Like if you watch him throw a football, like it's just his motion is just not there at all. He just can't. He can't just put the ball on the receiver. I don't know. He's just got to get better mechanics.
Yeah, I look at Dwayne Haskins as Cardell Jones, who was in Buffalo for 4 years, and both from Ohio State, and they were both really, really good preseason players. But when it came to game time, their decision making, and it just didn't work out for the NFL.
I was about to say, you hear the same story from a lot of Ohio State quarterbacks, don't you? Even just not trying to compare him, but even Justin Fields. I mean, coming out of the draft, they were saying, don't know if he can decision make the right reads, crazy arm talent, but don't know if he's smart enough to play in the NFL consistently. And I just think for Dwayne Haskins, it's a mental game. I think he's got to get out of his own head and get away from the off-field stuff and solely focus all of his attention on football. Because let Big Ben mentor you for however long, prove that you can be that quarterback, and just prove to yourself that you can get better each and every day. Because Dwayne Haskins has the arm talent. It's just all that mechanical and mental side of it.
I agree. The second question is the Steelers' run game, which all three of you know that I'm in love with. I love Najee Harris. I think he's going to be a force in the NFL. I think he's a guy that could be an all-pro guy year one if he can stay healthy all year. He can be 1,000-yard rusher in year one. The Steelers' offensive line's good enough. I don't think he'll be 1,000-yard rusher year one, but he has the potential to be one of the best rookie running backs I think I've ever seen. He's just an Alabama running back. And I think as long as Najee's healthy, the Steelers' run game will roll, and that's going to help that offense a lot. And I think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs because of that run game.
Yeah, the Steelers are always known. They love going run heavy. That's what they're known for. And I know they lost a lot of their O line. Some retired. They released their best one in David Castro. But do I think Najee Harris is good to play through that? Yes, like without a doubt. Like he's gonna have a really good year.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Najee Harris is amazing. It's just the only thing that's going to hold him back getting over that 1,000-yard mark is that O-line. As we all know how the O-line is going to come out and be throughout the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we know Najee is, like you said, Alabama running back might be even better because he's one of the best to come out of Alabama. And that's hard. That's a lot. That's no easy task. And I think it just, I mean, we saw when James Conner came into the league, it's yards to carry, 5 yards to carry. After that, they lost some of the, Billy's internet. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was waiting for it to go out.
I just got a thing that said your internet connection is unstable. I'm like,
Sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of James Conner came to the league, averaged 5 yards to carry, and then they lost some of that O line, and he's barely averaging 3. So as long as they can get that O line back the way it needs to be, like Blake said, there's no reason he really can't be 1,000-yard rusher year one.
Yeah, I agree. I love Najee Harris. I think the Steelers are. I think it's scary to say if that Steelers defense plays like it did last year, they could really start off just as good as they were last year. Not 13-0, but that team's good enough to be a 13-win team again. As we move on to the last one, Brett Bonestadt, one of all of our friends, he's gotten into the UFC lately, as he was telling me yesterday. I know a lot of us watch the UFC, watch MMA all the time. We haven't covered it a lot here on CBJ. I'd like to do it now. St. Pierre, GSP returns to the UFC. Our thoughts, to me, I think it's just good for OG UFC fans to see him back. I think it's not that big of a deal, but of course for the OGs, it's huge to see a guy like GSP back in the octagon.
Oh yeah, it's like bigger pay-per-views now. I mean, I'm happy, but like you said, all the OGs will be happy. But I think I don't know if he's gonna want to help or not, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Oh, my bad. You go.
In my mind, he definitely he's one of the best to ever do it. and especially in the UFC where it's a very loyal fan base. So if you can bring back one of these names, such as GSP, it's gonna pull in crazy views and crazy pay-per-view buys, and who knows? Maybe he gets back to that shape. I doubt it, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's just nice having him back for, like you said, the OGs and having another big name just back in the octagon.
Yeah, I think the UFC, it makes their money off the name and the likeness, like guys like McGregor that bring in the pay-per-views. Diaz Lawler rematch was in the works in the UFC. He also wants our thoughts on that. And for me, Robbie Lawler was one of my friends growing up favorite UFC fighter. Diaz for me has always been a guy I like to watch. I haven't been a fan of either, but just like the GSP thing, it's good for money, it's good for views, and of course people are gonna come see Lawler fight. I mean that's people's goat sometimes in the UFC, so people are gonna pay to see that fight. CJ.
Are we? What was the question again? I know it's
Robbie
Nick. I
Lawler
know.
Diaz rematch.
Oh, I'm happy for Diaz. I'm glad he came back. I like Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz or Nick Diaz's army bitch.
Yeah, this week we weren't waiting on Billy because CJ's half asleep still. Billy.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's one of those things that's really good for UFC. And Lawler, I mean, he's one of those guys. You go back, however long ago, you saw him on a card, you're like, I gotta watch this fight. And it's the same thing with Diaz. They're two really good fighters, maybe a little bit past what they used to be, but it's still one of those things that's going to bring in pay-per-view buys, and it's two fighters you're going to tune in just to watch because you know it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get money off this fight, and probably going to be from me too. So
That's 100% true. Unless, there's a stream on Reddit.
we ain't talk about that.
But I think it's going to be fun either way. We thank all the fans that send in questions. Of course, you can keep doing that if you're watching the Twitch stream, and Josh will relay it to us as we go through some of our questions to talk about preseason football and just some fun ones at NBA, MLB. And the first one is all sports, and it's players' jerseys to get you dirty looks in public. And I think this is a fun one because I saw a video, and it was a kid wearing a Trevor Bauer jersey at a Mets game, and they're like, "Is someone gonna tell him?" Like, and everyone was kind of like making fun of him. But I'll start with CJ, and we'll work our way back around to me. CJ, you can go first.
I got a question from Dion or UC Spartan after this.
Because I don't know. There's so many. I'm going. I'm going Ray Rice.
Which one? The tank top or the actual jersey?
Both wife beater and Super Bowl jersey.
I like it, Billy.
There's many different ways you can go with this. I mean, it all depends. It can be just the overall, hey, I like to beat my wife, Marcelo Zuna. Jersey's literally, hold up.
That's what we like to see.
I mean, it's just, you can go like that. Or if you really want to go regional based, I would love to wear an Eli Manning jersey in New England. Like, it would bring me pride to just walk around with a New York Giants jersey in the middle of Boston. And
a good one would be Brady in Atlanta. That'd be a really good one.
I mean, it's just, I love this question because there's so many names you could throw out there. And some names you probably shouldn't say because some of the stuff they did was just not okay. And my light just turned off. That's dope. And blinding, and we're back. But I mean, I'm trying to think, and there's just so many names you could say, but you're like, should I say it? That just doesn't seem like it'd be okay.
So you're gonna pick one?
Dude, I literally just showed you a Marcelo Zuna jersey.
Oh,
well, you were kind of circling around it, like all the way around it.
Because he's a Brave, and I don't want to do it.
I'm gonna go with. You guys have to experience it. You have to be there to experience it. But a Tom Brady jersey in Buffalo, New York, that is, you're wanting to get, like, I'm not. I can't even go there. Yeah, jumped. I mean, it's bad. A Tom Brady jersey.
Me and Josh we're in the we're in the upper deck. And there's his dad and his kid. I mean, the kid's probably like 18, 19. They're both wearing. They took their jackets off. They both have Brady like jersey T-shirts on, and the stadium was recognizing veterans, and they didn't stand up. Everybody else around them was standing up. So the kids behind us just start pegging them with water bottles,
Beer
cans.
cans,
Anything they can
everything.
pick up, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, Buffalo sounds like a fun place to go if you're a Patriots fan.
That's Bills Mafia, baby.
The first one I mentioned him. To me, the first name was instantly Trevor Bauer after watching that video. Because if you wear a Trevor Bauer jersey, I think around women in general, I think you're just getting dirty looks. If they know anything about sports after what Trevor Bauer has done. But as we talked about last night in a party, I think I was thinking about teams like players. I've seen videos because I follow a lot of Boston Red Sox fan pages. If you wear a Derek Jeter jersey in Fenway, like fans will lose their mind. Like they hate Derek Jeter.
They
And-
respect them.
No, they hate
Yeah, they do.
Derek Jeter.
They respect them.
There was a video on the fan page, kind of like what you said, but there was a Derek Jeter. He was wearing a Derek Jeter jersey. He was walking through like the concourse at Fenway, and someone from like above the seat just hawked a loogie, just right on his head, and hit him right in the hat, and just wrote. It was kind of funny, honestly, as a Red Sox fan. But
I got a question from UC Spartan real quick.
Real quick,
So-
real quick. I just want to, Blake, can I say it?
what?
What we talked about last night?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. Yeah, another jersey that'd probably get you some dirty looks. Probably wouldn't be the brightest idea to wear a Deshaun Watson jersey to a masseuse parlor. Just want to throw that out there. Probably wouldn't get you some nice looks. I mean, especially 22 of them. That just can't go well.
All right. Save the question.
Okay, UC Spartan's
from
question.
UC Spartan what do y'all think about Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill.
Coming from a Saints fan.
Yeah, I'll start and we can go CJ, Josh, Billy. To me, I'm a Panthers fan, so I do not like Taysom Hill, but I understand what a Swiss Army knife he is. He can do everything for the Saints. That's why they pay him so much. That's why they love him. I just don't think at his age he's got the talent to be able to help the Saints win playoff games. Because that's what we know the Saints as, a playoff team. And they have to take that step to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't think Taysom Hill helps that in any way. So that's my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my turn. Shut up.
That's
So, yeah, I just don't think Taysom Hill is a franchise quarterback. Like you said, his age. Like, you have to put Jameis Winston back there. He's still somewhat young. Like, I know he had a 30-30 season, but forget that. Just look at the touchdowns.
Yeah, not stolen bases, home runs, touchdown picks.
Still, I mean, Jameis Winston's better than Taysom Hill. You need a franchise quarterback that's going to take you at least somewhere, and I don't want my punter doing that.
Yeah.
yeah, I was Taysom Hill at quarterback, no bueno. Taysom Hill at every other position on the freaking field, good. Just not a quarterback.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm on the Jameis Winston wagon here. I want to see Jameis Winston back as a starting QB because he has so much arm talent, and I know he had 30 interceptions, but a lot of them were from like tip passes from like the receiver not catching it. But it's still 30 interceptions though. But I think sitting behind Drew Brees for a year, he had to have learned something.
Hey,
Yeah.
but he's gotten eye surgery since then too. So don't
Yeah, he can
Josh
see
them down.
now. We're straight. He can see now.
You can see he's on the Saints now. He didn't know that.
Wait, I'm in New Orleans?
I was always throwing to him in Tampa. I mean, come on. As we move on, we talked about Summer League earlier, but a Summer League standout for each of us. I'll start it because this is a biased pick for me, but
Like, don't say it. This is mine.
I'm
say it.
sorry. We're going to have to agree because Pat
Okay.
Will is an absolute animal. Patrick Williams has been going crazy in the Summer League. Of course, he's a second-year player. If we were allowed to do another one, I want to go Cam Thomas for the Nets from LSU, a guard who's averaging 18 already in the Summer League. I think Cam Thomas is meant for the NBA. He was so good at LSU. I don't know how he fell that far to Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's got a bench guard in Cam Thomas. But those are my two.
We got two. Are we picking two people?
I picked two. But you
Alright.
pick one.
I'm gonna go with the dude from the Heat. I don't know his name, but I
Which
see him,
one? There's two absolutely going off.
the point guard.
The one that talks to the ball.
The point
Oh,
guard.
Max.
The-
I'm gonna have to search it.
I don't know, but I mean, I see he almost has like 3 or 4 40-point games with like 10 assists. I mean, he's balling. And then my other one, oh, I just had it in my head, dude. Oh, I'm going with Jello Ball, bro. That's what I'm going with.
Seen him too.
House of Jello.
I love Jello.
I think I'm also going with the play. I'm gonna switch it up because one's Pat Will. We know been balling, going crazy this year. But the other one's Omer Yurtseven from the Heat. I think he had like 3 straight games where he had 25 plus and close to 15 rebounds. A defensive monster, really talented offensively too, and kind of almost gave me some Vucevic vibes watching him. Just any ability to score from anywhere, kind of just a big body that goes up, gets the boards, plays all around pretty good, and I think he's gonna be really good in the league.
Josh.
I have Jalen Johnson, who slipped all the way to 20th overall in this year's draft. He's averaging through 3 games, 17 points, 10.5 rebounds, shooting 57% from the field.
Is that the kid from Tennessee? Or Duke?
Who?
I think that's
Jalen
Jalen
Johnson.
Johnson.
Jalen?
I think he's from Duke.
I
isn't he?
can't.
Yeah. He's from Duke.
The most like underrated Duke star to come
Yeah.
out as a top pick ever.
But that's who I have.
I agree. CJ, did you find that name?
No, I don't know. Just believe me. He's balling.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
balling.
Strauss, Max Strauss.
Yeah, I knew it was Max.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is.
I knew it was Max.
Okay.
Moving on. Preseason's happening. Of course, the Panthers are playing right now. Preseason week 1, CBJ player of the week, not CBG. We'll start with CJ and wrap all the way around and then circle back to me.
I'm going bias here. I'm going with Jake Fromm. That's what I'm going with. I just wanted to see him play, and he kind of let us down with a 2-minute drill and set us up for the game-winning field goal. Had like a 50-yard bomb. There's some throws there look like he was still at Georgia, but he had some really good throws.
He's our secret gem. We can't talk about him. He's being hidden.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stay in the AFC East in terms of I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. 10 carries, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Patriots in their first game, and just the speed, absolute blazing speed on the outside. And he took that 91-yard touchdown to the crib late in the game. And a team that desperately needs an elusive back, I think that's going to be a good fit if he can earn that second or third running back spot.
You say elusive? That dude big.
Yeah, but he breaks tackles.
I think James White, is he still there?
No.
That's the elusive back. Stevenson, that dude's big. Like, he didn't even look that fast. He was just big, like a Nick Chubb, slower Nick Chubb.
He is 6. Oh my, he's a hefty boy.
I told you, see, I don't know what you got elusive. You didn't look at him. You just looked at the stats. That dude's elusive. Look at the yardage, bro. That dude's elusive.
No, look.
That dude's
compare him to Sony Michel. He's still elusive.
Sony Michel's a bowling ball.
Well, elusive
Yeah,
is
so
surprising.
is this
quick.
Yeah, that dude is like, I think he looks bigger than Sony Michel. That dude's huge.
Yeah, he's 6 foot 230.
That boy ain't elusive around the buffet.
Yeah,
That dude's
not
huge.
Okay.
Yeah, opposite elusive, but I agree with you. That is a very good one. I have to give a little props to Drew Lock just based off he had 5 completions for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's just crazy to me. On 5 completions.
I agree. I have an unbiased pick and a biased pick. My biased pick is obviously Terrence Marshall. 3 catches, 88 yards in the first half of the Panthers game. He did exactly what people wanted him to do. Get open, route run, and show the speed. He did that in all 3 catches. And my unbiased is Justin Fields. I think he looked the best out of the rookie quarterbacks. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 run. Of course, the throw was wide open, but he made it. Like in the comment section, a lot of people were saying, Mitch wouldn't have made that throw. So, I mean, I think people in Chicago are happy. Justin Fields looks like a guy who represents Chicago well. I had to go Justin Fields to give him the credit that he deserves in week 1 of the preseason.
I got a question from the Pitmaster. His thoughts on the Field of Dreams game?
I'll let CJ start.
I mean, like, who was I telling? I think I was telling Zach Kaler the other day. Like, that's probably like I don't. That's one of the best baseball games I've ever watched in my life. Like, for real. Like, that was such a good game. Like, I told Billy before the game, like, I just hope there's a lot of home runs, and there was. But Judge played really good. Stanton finally hit a tank. Like, it's hard not to get mad at it since we lost, but like, it was such a good game.
I agree. I think as a Red Sox fan, you watch it pulling for the White Sox. I didn't get to watch it, but I watched the highlights after. Kopech looked like Kopech in relief. The White Sox looked like one of the best teams in baseball. But I mean, it was a really fun game. The presentation was what made it so good. The being able to walk out of the cornfields. I mean, everything. The home runs into the cornfields. People go and get the ball. The uniforms. Everything made it so good, so realistic. And the walk-off just, I mean, capped it off perfectly with the best player maybe on the field and Tim Anderson. I just think it was very fun to watch and a good thing for baseball viewership-wise.
Yeah, that was the most viewed regular season game in like 16 years.
Yeah, I think that's what MLB needs. MLB needs games like that because you see all these regular season games and half the stadium's just empty in a lot of these games when I turn on. And it's just having something like that where that stadium was full for how small it was and just fun to watch. And I'm glad it was like a home run derby almost. Made it even more fun to watch.
Yeah, it was just something that the history of it, and it's just it was beautifully made. It was an awesome game. One, like I said, go back and watch. I can go back and watch the highlights 20 times right now if I wanted to, because the game was just that good, and it's just really good for baseball in general.
I agree. I think baseball, like Josh said, needs more of that, more games. They're going to keep running the Field of Dream games. Someone made a meme. It was like, they should put the Sandlot next year. That would be pretty dope, as long as the Red Sox are involved. But as we go back to the NBA, thoughts? What? What's so funny?
Josh's face.
This is
The Red Sox.
as long as the Red Sox are involved.
Stephen A. Smith made fun of Kawhi this week and like called him out, told him he's not doing enough. He's the reason teams haven't won championships. And I wanted time for us to settle the statement and see our thoughts on it. I want to start it because this made me very upset when I saw this video, because Kawhi Leonard has went everywhere he's went and gave them his all. In San Antonio, he was the youngest player on the team with superstars and Ginobili and Duncan and Tony Parker. He was the 4th guy, and he won Finals MVP. He was the best player on the court in the Finals. He goes to Toronto. Everyone, he's team changing. He's going to get a ring, and he beat the best of the best to get that ring in Toronto. He led that team in every aspect to get that ring, and now he's in LA, and he's obviously taking LA to places they haven't went before. Yes, he was hurt, but he's the reason they got there. And I just think there's no criticism you can put on Kawhi Leonard. He does not talk. So you can't say he's talking bad about his teammates or anything, because he doesn't do it in the media's eye. So what does it matter behind closed doors? So for me, I think it's his play on the court matters more. He's done everything in that aspect to prove to me that he's meant the most to every single team he's been on.
Yeah, 9.9 times enough. My turn. Yeah. 9.9 times out of 10, whatever Stephen A. Smith says, doesn't matter. It's just one of those things where it gets him views, it gets him watches.
I guess that's video watches.
And Kawhi Leonard's won any team he's on. He's the most important player on the court.
Yeah, I'm. God,
It's karma for going before CJ.
What happened?
I don't know. You just,
So
You
you're
said
up,
that
CJ.
gets, you
Yeah.
said Stephen A. Smith gets video watches and you cut out, and I was like, that gets us video watches.
but yeah, I mean, he's just like he's injured. Like, I mean, like you said, when he steps on the court, he's gonna be that guy. But yeah, he just gotta get healthy. There should be no slander though.
I think people just set such a high stool for him because the way he went to Toronto and did what he did. I think because he hasn't done nothing in LA yet. In LA, the Clippers, he's not even in the big LA team. He's kind of overshadowed by the Lakers, and being in LA, it's kind of, I don't know. It's at such a high pedestal for him. I think,
Billy,
but
talk
I
so
think he's
people can
doing
see
good.
what Billy
I'm
talk so people
depressed.
talk again.
Depression.
I just wanted people to see what he was doing. Fantasy draft week is coming up closer than we think. We're drafting today in one of our leagues with Billy.
Oh, thanks for the reminder.
You just woke
CJ
up,
wasn't
sorry.
asleep or wasn't awake, so he may or may not be drafted tonight. But we're gonna go through and give you one of our sleepers and a guy not to draft early. As we're gonna start with our biggest sleeper. For me, I think sleeper means value late, and I think a guy like David Montgomery is going to fall. I think in Chicago they don't have that running back one, and David Montgomery was that guy last year. Tariq Cohen's the backup; he's going to get the pass catches, but David Montgomery's took most of the load in Chicago, and they're going to lean on that run game when having Justin Fields or Andy Dalton on the field. So I think David Montgomery's a running back you can get late, and he can be an RB1 type guy.
I'm gonna go with God. I'm gonna go with who I had last week. The tight end for the Packers, Robert Tyon, I think.
Tanya.
Yeah, I'm going with him. He's gonna be there around 5 through whatever. I mean, he didn't really pop off last year until the end of the year. I think he's gonna be really good there in Green Bay this year.
I'm trying to think. There's so many. Like the first thought off the top of my head was Tariq Cohen because he was hurt all last year, and he's going to fall in a lot of people's drafts because nobody's going to be thinking Tariq Cohen. But a weird part of me wants to go. This can be weird. Maybe it's because I've seen him all over social media for the past week. But Jamal Williams for the Detroit Lions. I know DeAndre Swift's there, but it doesn't get. Jamal Williams is a really good third down back who's going to catch a lot of passes from Jared Goff and that routes or whatever, especially if you're playing in a PPR league. That's somebody you could really you need him for a week or two and you really need him to come through. It's somebody that could get you 15 points easily.
Josh?
I'm gonna stick with who I've been saying. He's kind of been rising though, but he's not going to go super early, and it's a running back you can catch kind of on the backside is Michael Carter for New York. I think he's going to get a lot of touchers.
I've seen two names. I want to mention another one. Javonte Williams is climbing up a lot of people's fantasy boards as he's played good in preseason. But as we move on to a guy that's maybe a little overhyped, guys that are going to be there early and may fall off the board, but you don't want to be the one to end up with them. And I'll start with one. I know a lot of people are high. Do not take Julio Jones in rounds 1 through 3. If Julio Jones, he's going to be one of the top wide receivers fantasy-wise on that board whenever you go in and draft your team. Do not be the guy that ends up with Julio Jones because he's got A.J. Brown on the other side, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, and Derrick Henry getting every other carry. So he's maybe max getting 8-9 touches a game. And we know Julio Jones hasn't been a touchdown guy recently. So you're going to get lucky if he gets 40, 50 yards and maybe a touchdown. Julio is just a guy you don't want to take early.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There was another name, I can't think of it right now, but I also saw something on Julio Jones where in the last 3, maybe 4 years, he hasn't been the number one receiver fantasy-wise on his team. Calvin Ridley's been up there.
He's always so rated high, though, like when you go in the draft.
People draft him early because of that, but it's like he's not putting up crazy points like you think he's going to. Another sleeper, by the way, I was thinking of is Michael Thomas. He's going to fall super, super far, and he could have a breakout year this year and be back to where he was at.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say something for beginners. If this is your first, maybe second year ever doing a draft, do not take a quarterback with the first 30 picks in the draft. It will be fine. There will be more quarterbacks there. Every year I watch somebody draft Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes in like the top 15 picks. And I'm like, we get it. They're good quarterbacks, but they're not fantasy quarterbacks. And it's just, I can't think of a name player off the top of my head, but that's really a big tip. Just do not. The quarterbacks will be there. There are plenty of good fantasy quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, who always seems to fall, will consistently be top 5 in fantasy every year.
Yeah, I think another guy that I think people have been saying not to draft high. People are talking about his touches maybe lowered. Oh my God, this name just slipped. I think it was Kamara, because Kamara has been on an injury list in the preseason. So early in the year, Kamara might not get the touches. They still have Latavius Murray, so he'll take a little bit of the touches early. Yes, Kamara is a fantasy guy.
I've stayed super high in Kamara because he's like their number one.
Yeah.
skill
Kamara
player
is
on the
obviously a Christian McCaffrey fantasy player guy.
I wouldn't be scared to draft him.
Yeah, just do not get messed up taking
when he's
him.
healthy. He's gonna be the number one guy.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen Ramsey posted a picture on Instagram, top 5 corners, and I want to go over that and see how we feel about it. I talked to Billy and CJ last night. I said it was going to make him happy. Number 1 is himself, Jalen Ramsey. Put Jalen Ramsey at 1. Number 2 is the man guy me and Billy love, Stephon Gilmore at 2. 3, Tre'Davious White. 4, Xavier Howard. 5, Billy's guy, Jair Alexander. I want to start off.
My bad.
2 was Stephon Gilmore. I want to go through everyone's thoughts about his list. I'll start off. I think 2 names that he missed are Marlon Humphrey and James Bradbury. I think James Bradbury is one of the lengthiest corners in the league, and stats-wise, a top 3 guy for me. And Marlon Humphrey has proven every single year he can lock up the best receivers in the league. To me, Xavier and Jair are the 2 I would take out and replace. But respect to both of them, all 4 are good corners. I don't have that many problems with this list. I think Stephon's a little too high, but I think they're just missing the 2.
Yeah, that's
Trey Day should be 2. That's just my opinion.
That's my only problem with that list. You're putting Stephon over Trey Day?
No,
You said he should be lower.
I have Marlon Humphrey at 2 in my main 5.
You put Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey, stats-wise, is almost the best corner in the league. And Billy has Jair at 1.
Yeah, well, Billy's dumb, okay?
Well, that's
We get
Billy.
that.
I mean, we've been arguing that conversation for a while now.
You'll learn. I don't know. I like the list. I do feel like Stephon is a little too high. How I would mix the other numbers, I'd have to sit down and go through it. But I feel like Stephon last year was not a top.
I think JC played better than Stephon.
Yeah, I don't know if I put Stephon in my top 5 as of right now. But I love Stephon. Don't get me wrong. Carolina fan. He was one of the greatest. But it's just a matter of I don't know if I can fit him in there right now with the way if he wasn't as locked down as he had been in past years.
Yeah, I think I keep Tre'Davious at 3. I had Marlon Humphrey at 2. I had Jalen Ramsey at 1. I think 4 for me was James Bradbury, and 5 was Xavier. I think that's how mine went whenever me, Billy, and Zach did the podcast. But yeah, I think the list isn't bad. Of course, Jalen Ramsey's the best corner in the league. But I think this year is going to be a very fun year to watch corner-wise because these young guys are really lengthy and long. I think the corners top 5 list is going to be fun to see change throughout the year, especially for us. But did anyone send any more viewer questions?
Zach said Randall Cobb's going to be a beast this year.
Oh.
Don't worry, they're getting Clay, dude. Don't worry.
Clay Matthews, baby.
Don't worry.
That's such a bad
Did
pick.
Marlon Humphrey play last year?
I don't know. No. I mean,
No,
yeah,
think
he did. He did play. He played 15 games.
It says he played 15 games. They gave him 8 yards all year.
I don't know about
Lock. Absolute loss.
That's what it says.
Jalen, move out of the
up.
way. Marlon number one
No,
now.
that's if
I
you're under
can't
the
find
football
the-
thing, that's his interception thing or whatever.
I
You
I
gotta-
knew he was
Thursday
hurt
actually
at one
gave up.
point. He was hurt at one point last year.
I mean,
They
he don't
said
even
he
have a
played 15
Pro Bowl.
games. That's facts. I don't see nothing with Hurley Humphrey.
Brian Humphries is a really good corner. He's been good since he's entered the league. He's literally the staple.
I am not
corner
saying
in
he hasn't
Baltimore.
been good. Yeah, he's definitely been good, but you're putting him over Trey Day, who's established corner for Buffalo, a top tier corner
Brian
in the
Humphries
league.
been established.
Yeah, Marlon
I'm not saying Marlon Humphrey is. I'm
Real
saying,
NFL fans know Marlon Humphries been established.
yeah, I know it's not what I'm saying, but you're putting Marlon Humphrey over Trey Day. That's the problem.
I don't think
you're the only person putting him over Trey Day.
that is
No,
cap. That
I
is
don't think-
cap.
You-
Me,
Bill, you
Zach,
put him over
and
Trey
Day?
me, Zach, and Billy did in that podcast we recorded.
How do you put somebody that has
No
no
way.
Pro Bowls and Trey Day beats
Yeah.
him in every stat category?
Trey Day was
and you
all
put him
pro
over
last
him?
year.
There's
Trey
Day
no,
was
you
all pro.
can't.
Pro
Pro
Bowls
Bowls
don't
are-
even
All right,
matter.
he
Pro
beats
Bowls
him in
don't
stats,
matter.
Billy.
Pro
He
Bowls
beats him
don't
in
even matter
stats.
Okay,
anymore.
don't talk about Pro Bowls.
Trey Day
Don't talk
was-
about Pro Bowls. Trey Day was all pro last year. All pro.
Trey Day since 2017.
Man,
I think
really?
Trey Day's
tackles,
good. I think Trey
interceptions,
Day's
everything.
good. I think Trey Day's good. I just don't think he's as athletic as Marlon Humphrey. I think they're right there together. I have him at 2-3. I have him at 2-3.
He returns punts.
Let me see Trey Davis
That's
right.
athletic.
Punts.
Jeez, did you see him at LSU?
Well, he's not at LSU anymore. He's in Buffalo. We're not
Oh,
talking about
Buffalo.
LSU. Tre'Davious
Still
White.
athletic.
I'm saying Marlon Humphrey is more athletic than Tre'Davious White. It doesn't mean
Listen,
Tre'Davious
I
White
get it.
athletic
You
is
hate
0.
Buffalo. I get it.
No, I know
okay.
you're going to argue for
He
every
hating.
Buffalo
He
player.
hating. We
I have
gotta argue with
I have-
Tre'Davious White.
I have no dog in that race. I just think Marlon Humphrey is a better player. Billy agrees with me. Zach Rusk agrees with me. He agrees
Talking
with
about the
me on
dude who put
podcast.
Jair Alexander at
I
one.
don't agree with that. Okay, I don't
Man.
think that's okay.
All right, don't bring up Billy's name ever again about quarterbacks.
Just like
Billy,
I'm
what
not
you
going to
think?
bring up.
For all I
I'm
know,
just
How many
Wild
gonna
Goose.
fucking yards they gave up
Wild
last year.
Goose, baby.
I'll put it this way: it's hard to bring up certain players to certain fan bases. So it's hard to. I think.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, I know I'm not winning a Bills
Shut
debate
up.
with
Let
CJ
me
or
talk.
Josh.
It's
See?
hard to put somebody over somebody that don't lead him in stats or beat that dude in stats in any category at all. So that's why I'm mad. Like, it's just not comparable. Like, for
Very
real.
comparable. Any
No, it's-
NFL fan
no,
would
it's-
compare
all right.
that.
I'll compare it right now.
I'm just saying, you're saying this from such an angle that, like, you have a dog in this fight. And I understand that because I'm going to argue.
Yeah, I know.
If you say someone's better than DJ Moore, I'm going to argue with you. But, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You have
Tre'Davious
to
White
look
has
at-
accolades to back it up.
this isn't this
Yeah,
is
you
going
can't-
off
you-
the
yeah, see, you
moment.
can't
This
argue
isn't in
that.
the past.
Huh?
Yeah, last year. Tre'Davious White, it's not like he got 30 years older compared from last year. He was all pro last year. Him and Jalen Ramsey. Those are 1 and 2. You have to put the all pros at 1 and 2. They were all pros last year.
That's
They were
not
all
how
pros
that
last year.
works. That's
Davian
not how
was
that
all
works.
pro, but
Well, then DK Metcalf's top tier receiver because he's athletic
Not-
as hell. That's what you're
That's
saying.
not how that
That's what
that's
you're
not how
saying.
that works.
That's
not how
you're
that works.
just making an argument out of nothing. You're making an
You're,
argument.
you're
out
putting
of
him over
ath-
because how athletic he is.
because their talent wise are right there together. I think they're right there 2 and 3, Josh. I don't think this is Marlon Humphrey.
I
so
don't think
much
it's
better
that
than
far either.
Tre'Davious
But
White.
but the fact you're putting him over, that's kind of hurting me.
Okay,
You
and it's
can't
good
put him
argue
over.
because we have different opinions. We can have different opinions, Josh. It's not.
I'm not saying we can't, but it's just
Okay,
the
you're
fact
sure
you're saying.
making it
The fact
sound-
you're
you're
saying.
sure
that,
making
bro.
it
You're just
sound like
mad
you
because
can't.
I have
Yeah.
Tre'Davious White at 3.
Can't-
Man, they really hate
can't.
me. They're really not going to like me then.
No, we've been hating on your corner situation for the last 5 weeks.
Sounds like CJ didn't find any evidence to support the statement.
Huh?
Sounds like you didn't find any evidence to support.
Oh,
your
I did.
statement.
I mean,
I just wanna
Tre'Davious
look
White
up
has
something.
almost 20 picks, and Humphrey has like fuck.
I just want to look up something real quick
4.
before we stop.
You just made that. You just made
No,
that up.
Trey Day has 15. He has 8. I can't. You gotta. this
Humphrey's
website
younger,
sucks.
also.
I can't.
He's
I can't
younger.
find like the yards and all that. They just don't.
It's
show that on this.
impossible. It's a
We'll
fucking
move,
impossible.
we'll move this on to another podcast. We've been
real quick.
talking.
Real quick.
No.
No,
Blake.
Billy. Nobody cares about Jair Alexander, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at pro football rankings fucking list. I just want to see what other people think. This list has him at 7.
Trey Day?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's Stephon
Yeah.
6, Bradbury 5, Xavier 4, Humphrey 3. I'm not
All right, you
even
can
saying-
look at whatever list you want. This one has Jair Alexander at 2, Marlon Humphrey at 6, Travis White at 3. So every list is different.
What?
I agree. We had a talk the other night. We might be making some winter all black CBJ hoodies. We'll decide if we want to make that actual merch or if we want to just have them and give away special occasions. We love to see the fans show love, tune in every single week. We're on Twitch every Sunday, YouTube every single week. We love you guys. See you next week. Have a good week. Deuces.
Bye.